An entire ship full of passengers was slaughtered in seconds, but the real horror. The film opens in 1962 aboard the Italian luxury liner, the Grazia. The ballroom is alive with music as a singer named Francesca performs for elegantly dressed passengers, dancing with their partners. In the middle of the celebration sits a young girl, Katie, alone without anyone to dance with. Noticing her, the captain kindly invites her onto the floor. Seconds later, the joy turns into horror. An unseen hand pulls a lever connected to a tensioned steel wire. The cable snaps loose and violently slices across the dance floor, cutting through passengers and crew in a single sweep. Bodies collapse instantly. The music stops. The ballroom becomes a massacre. Only Katie survives. The wire passed above her due to her height. The story then jumps 40 years forward. In the present day, a 6-member salvage crew successfully tows a damaged vessel to shore under the leadership of Captain Murphy. That night, they celebrate at a local bar, where they are approached by a man named Jack, an acquaintance from the maritime industry. Jack shares a rumor about a ship that vanished in 1962, a ghost vessel believed to be carrying a fortune in gold bars. According to legend, whoever recovers it keeps whatever is inside. The crew, Murphy, Greer, Santos, Dodge, Munder, and the only woman on the team, Maureen, decide to search for it the next morning. After hours at sea, their tracking system shows no vessel in the area. Assuming the information was false, they prepare to head back. But just as they turn, a massive commercial liner suddenly appears in front of them. Their tugboat lightly collides with it, though neither ship is damaged. Stunned by its size and silence, they decide to board. Jack and Greer remain behind while Murphy, Maureen, Dodge, and Munder step onto the abandoned ship. Almost immediately, strange occurrences begin. They hear unexplained noises, shadows shift in dark corners. They blame it on wind and unstable structure. But behind them, a Scrabble tile moves on its own, slowly arranging the words, "Welcome aboard." On the upper deck, Munder steps forward and suddenly falls through a hidden opening. He is barely saved by Maureen's quick reaction. As she pulls him up, she notices a young girl standing in the distance, Katie. The girl disappears within seconds. Maureen is unsettled, but keeps it to herself. Moments later, the team finds a digital clock lying on the floor. Since digital clocks did not exist in 1962, they conclude that someone must have been on the ship after it disappeared. Because the vessel is enormous, Murphy decides they will continue their search the next day. That night, Jack approaches Maureen, noticing she seems tense after saving Munder. When she mentions seeing a little girl, Jack pauses briefly as if he recognizes something, but quickly dismisses it and suggests she get some rest. The following day, the crew discovers the ship is slowly sinking due to damage at its base. They decide to remain at sea for 3 days, repair it, and tow the entire vessel back to shore. While the others begin working, Maureen explores further and reaches the drained pool area. There, she notices bullet holes in the walls, which contradicts the official story that all passengers drowned. As she turns to leave, Katie appears again. Startled, Maureen slips, hits her head, and a drop of her blood falls into the pool. When she looks up, Jack is standing where the girl had been moments earlier. Neither of them notices that Maureen's blood has vanished. Suddenly, the bullet holes begin pouring thick streams of blood, filling the entire pool. After the horrifying incident at the pool, Jack and Maureen continue exploring and enter the laundry section of the ship. There, they discover a hidden door that does not appear on the ship's blueprint. When they force it open, a violent rush of seawater bursts out, throwing them backward. Along with the water, mutilated bodies spill into the corridor. Terrified, they attempt to escape, but the door they entered through suddenly slams shut, trapping them deeper inside the vessel. Elsewhere, Captain Murphy wanders into the captain's lounge. He finds an open bottle of liquor and considers taking a drink. But as he looks into a mirror, he sees the reflection of the ship's original captain standing behind him. Startled, he drops the glass, which shatters on the floor, and flees in panic. Meanwhile, Greer hears a woman singing softly through the empty halls. It is Francesca, the same performer from 1962. He follows the voice but eventually gives up, unaware that she is watching him from the shadows. Not long after, Jack and Maureen discover what they have been hoping for, a chest filled with gold bars worth millions. The entire crew gathers around the treasure, realizing they no longer need to repair the entire ship. They can simply take the gold and leave. Excited, they begin transferring the gold onto their tugboat. Santos, the mechanic, prepares the engines for departure. But behind him, propane begins leaking from a cylinder. Within seconds, a massive explosion erupts, killing Santos instantly and destroying their boat. The crew is left shocked and devastated. Worse still, they are now stranded on the haunted ship. Just before the explosion, Maureen had seen Katie again, as if the girl was trying to warn her. Convinced there is more to the story, Maureen begins investigating Katie's identity. She searches the passenger registry and finds Katie's room number. When she enters the cabin, she screams. Hanging from the ceiling is Katie's decomposed body. After gathering herself, Maureen removes a necklace from the corpse. Suddenly, Katie's spirit appears, asking for it back. Maureen tries to return it, but the necklace passes through the girl's hand. It becomes clear, Katie is not alive. In another part of the ship, 2 crew members discover freshly prepared food in the kitchen. Without questioning it, they begin eating. At first, it tastes delicious, but moments later, the smell changes. When they look down, the food has turned into writhing maggots. They immediately begin vomiting in disgust. At the same time, Greer enters the ballroom, and the environment suddenly transforms. The room restores itself to its former glory, filled with guests dancing as if nothing ever happened. Francesca approaches him, flirtatious and seductive. Though he has a fiancée back home, he allows himself to be drawn in. She kisses him, slowly leading him further into temptation. As she begins undressing, he follows her, believing they are heading somewhere private, but the illusion vanishes. Greer suddenly finds himself stepping into empty air, falling from a high platform to his death. As his body hits the ground, Francesca's beautiful face shifts into something monstrous. Meanwhile, Murphy encounters the ghost of the ship's captain face to face. The spirit offers him a drink, not as a threat, but to explain what truly happened. 40 years earlier, the Grazza had discovered another missing ship called the Lorelei. After finding gold on board, greed consumed the crew. The co-captain convinced them to murder everyone aboard the Grazza and claim the treasure for themselves. 2 days after discovering the Lorelei, the Grazza vanished as well. The captain hands Murphy a photograph that confirms the truth. At the same time, Katie reveals to Maureen that the souls of everyone who died on the ship have been trapped there ever since. They cannot move on because a powerful entity is binding them to the vessel. The only way to free them is to destroy the ship. But before Katie can reveal who is responsible, the walls begin shifting unnaturally. Katie suddenly panics and urges Maureen to run before vanishing. Back near the pool area, Murphy searches for the remaining crew. He has pieced together the truth about the ship and wants to leave immediately. But on his way, he encounters the spirit of Santos. The vision feels completely real. When Maureen approaches him, Murphy mistakes her for the ghost. In a state of terror, he attacks her, determined to defend himself. Maureen struggles but manages to stab his foot to break free. Moments later, Jack arrives and knocks Murphy unconscious. For safety, they lock Murphy inside an empty glass tank. At this point, the crew no longer cares about the gold. Survival is the only priority. They focus on repairing the ship so they can escape. But Greer is still missing. While the others perform final checks, Maureen goes searching for him. She encounters Katie once again, and this time, the girl shows her Greer's lifeless body. Then Katie does something different. She touches Maureen, pulling her into the past. Suddenly, the ship is alive again. Guests laugh. But beneath the celebration, greed is already at work. After discovering gold aboard the Lorelei, the co-captain convinced the crew to slaughter everyone on the Grazza. The cooks poisoned the food, killing many passengers. The massacre on the dance floor followed. Survivors were shot in the pool area. Katie was dragged back to her room and hanged. Once the passengers were gone, the crew rushed for the treasure, but the co-captain and Francesca turned on them, killing them to keep the gold for themselves. Soon, only the two remained. But betrayal continued. Francesca shot the co-captain, revealing her loyalty to another man, the true mastermind behind everything. After sharing a kiss over the chaos they created, the man suddenly killed Francesca by releasing a hook that impaled her and left her hanging. That man is revealed to be Jack. Everything becomes clear to Maureen. Jack was the one who told them about the ship. He always appeared whenever Katie tried to speak. He repeatedly told her to forget what she saw. Murphy, still locked inside the tank, has drowned. Munder, working in the flooded engine room, is also dead, the water around him turning red. Now only 3 remain: Maureen, Dodge, and Jack. Maureen asks Dodge to watch Jack while she prepares explosives to destroy the ship. But when Dodge and Jack are alone, Jack begins manipulating him. A fight breaks out. In the struggle, Dodge shoots Jack and believes he has killed him. He then finds Maureen and tells her the nightmare is over. He suggests they take the gold and start a new life together. Maureen hesitates, then asks why he hasn't mentioned Munder. That's when she realizes the truth. The man in front of her is not Dodge. It's Jack. Jack reveals his true nature. He is a demonic spirit whose purpose is to tempt people into sin, greed, betrayal, violence, and then claim their souls. As long as the ship remains intact, the trapped souls will never be freed. Knowing Maureen is different, Jack offers her a choice. Walk away, leave the ship standing, and live. Instead, Maureen detonates the explosives. The ship erupts into flames and begins to sink. Jack is consumed in the destruction as Maureen dives into the ocean. Underwater, she struggles to find an exit, until Katie appears one last time, guiding her safely to the surface. With the ship destroyed, the innocent souls are finally released. The next morning, Maureen is discovered floating in a crate by a passing cruise ship. She is rescued and taken toward an ambulance. But as she is loaded in, she notices something chilling. Crates of gold are being transferred onto another vessel, and among them is Jack. He cannot be killed. The cycle of temptation and greed will continue. The ambulance doors close as Maureen screams, powerless to warn them. Here, the story ends.